Okay, thank you, Smeggy, for your musical inclination. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to anyways, even if people hate it, because I'm just that sadistic. Anyways, welcome to Hit or Miss. I'm Night Strike. Tonight I'm joined by our wonderful panelists that actually decided to just show up tonight, unlike on Saturday, which they didn't show up at all. Well, some of them did. The other ones don't care about video games, so it didn't matter. Anyways, Heavy B, thanks for showing up.
Thank you for having me. And just to let you know, I look forward to Smeggy's intro every time.
Okay. Noted. Polecat, thanks for showing up.
Hello, Sailor.
Oh, boy. Nathan, what's going on?
Oh, not much. Hey, sorry I missed Saturday night about the video game chat, but I don't live in my mother's basement anymore.
Ooh, burn.
Right. Well, you weren't invited anyway, so it didn't matter.
Yeah. Suck it.
Sean, what's going on?
Evening, everybody. Live from GunChannels.com with the smooth, sexy stylings of Smeggy.
Okay.
See,
Sean Carter, welcome for showing up right at the last minute. You just made it.
Hey, what's going on? I just got home.
All right. And last, but certainly not least, have to save the best for last. My co-pilot, Smeggy42.
How's everybody doing?
All
AK
right.
was right around the corner.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about that tonight? Why don't we start that off? We're doing a thing. I guess it's like the Glocktober patch, but we're doing it for April. We're calling it AK-April. So every day in April, I think, we're giving out an AK-April patch to commemorate the AK-47 and it being April. And, you know, we're even going to throw in the AK-47 buyer's guide along with that, just for, good measure. So we may be throwing out like questions on Instagram, or we might do it via, the AK-47 buyer's guide website, or we just may randomly, gift them out, during a patch giveaway. We don't know. We haven't figured that out yet, but stay tuned for the chats and the podcast here on Gun Channels so that you may get a April patch. Anyways, guys, what are we talking about?
Hang on, I just want to say something real quick with that. Huge thank you to G-Webs, because he took it upon himself to make the patches. He's got a little machine, he can do prototype style stuff, and he made all the patches for AK-April. So, super huge thank you for that.
Yes, G-Webs, thank you for covering our asses again for I don't know how many times, but thank you for coming up with some idea, with a design and making some patches for us. We greatly appreciate it. And if you need our help making more, we'll do what we can. All right, what are we talking about tonight, guys? I know Sean Ponery wanted to talk about something. What are we talking about?
Oh, no. We're saving that for tomorrow.
Oh, we're saving that for tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have a topic you guys want to talk about it? Because tonight we're just kind of free-forming it, or freestyling, or just winging it in general. I don't have a topic.
Hillary is a cunt.
Oh yes. We have to go with the question. We have to start off with the question. Hillary is a cunt. Heavy B, what say you?
You're still... Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. I walked away. So are we all voting on the C word, or are we coming up with our own individual words for her?
Yeah, Hillary is a cunt. Yes or no?
One word?
There's a question mark at the end of it.
It's an election year. It's all about polls.
Polecat, what do you think?
As much as it pains me to admit it, I have a secret obsession with Hillary, and I want to marry her.
You must be joking.
That's more information than I ever needed.
No, yes, I'm absolutely joking. Hillary is the scariest fucking thing since, like, John Wayne Gacy.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Nathan, Hillary is a cunt? Yes or no? More words? Doesn't
Yay,
matter.
the motion carries.
Huh?
Motion carried.
I said yay, the motion carries.
All right. Sean, what do you think?
I'm ready for Hillary.
Either
hang.
one of you. To hang? Or
Hillary
Yes.
will make America great again.
I didn't know it was a question. It didn't go up at the end.
It didn't go up at the end.
I added
When you
a
make a
question
statement
mark at
with
the
a
end.
question, it confuses us.
Smeggy, what do you think?
I think I will see you next Tuesday.
Ah.
That's what I would say to Hillary.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
I see that Tuesday is way too soon. Anyways,
You guys are lucky because I don't get to vote until May.
we've already voted in South Carolina, but Hillary is, without question, the largest cunt, the biggest, the worst, the smelliest in the United States of America, possibly the world.
The interesting thing about a cunt is they're unaware of it. They don't know it. It's almost like being insane, but just in
It's exactly
a horrible,
like
horrible
being
way.
insane. You're progressive.
They're horrible, horrible, horrible people who are horrible to everyone, who then think that what they're doing is justified, because honestly, she probably is looking out for us, the little people. We shouldn't make decisions for ourselves. She needs to show us how we need to live our lives. And how
You're saying
dare
for the
we?
greater good.
How dare we think for ourselves? And she's from freaking Arkansas, so I don't know where she got all high and mighty from. She's trailer park mafia trash.
You know how many states she's claimed as her home state? Let's see: Arkansas, Illinois, New York.
Washington, D.C.?
I mean, how many
So,
other?
She gets around as much as her husband does.
Well, I mean, what we're calling her.
Well,
How many
I
other
hate to
she's
say
fallen out
I
of?
hate to say it, but Bill's had more action than she has.
You know, she was pretty hot a long time ago. That's the scariest part, I think.
We're not getting into that topic. That's getting shelved.
Can't do a hot or not on Hillary.
No.
No, very no.
No. No, the answer is not. Never put it in a box and throw it into the ocean. Anyways, what else did we want to talk about tonight? We were talking about.
All right, let's play F, Marry, Kill. Hillary,
Hold on a second. I just want to make a statement so everybody can hear and understand how stupid it is here in California.
Okay.
We're in the middle of a thunderstorm, rain pouring, and the sprinklers along the freeways are on.
of course.
But you guys have a
Nothing,
water shortage.
Hold on. How will the mudslide get started if they don't turn on the sprinklers during a thunderstorm?
It was raining when I came home, and my neighbor was washing his car outside.
Oh wow. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
What were we gonna talk about tonight?
I'm driving on a river right now. It's called a street. Waterman is literally a river right now.
I am totally not prepared at all, but we're going with the show anyways because the show must go on. Okay, we're not going to talk about politics. That's tomorrow, maybe a match chat. Just hijack it. But we are going to cover, what do you guys think of the RNC National, the Republican National Convention open carry petition? Okay, apparently the guy that started it is a Democrat and a Clinton supporter, and he's just trolling him. But what do you think of that whole situation? What's your take on that?
It'll never pass. It'll never happen. Just, the security risks like we talked about before the chat began. It's too impractical. I mean, there are places where you should and shouldn't. And with that much security coverage and the Secret Service presence and everything, nobody's going to need to carry, I guess. That's their justification. Because, I mean, it would be like Secret Service people would be just jumping into the crowd constantly like they were just trying to crowd surf.
That would be pretty cool to watch, though.
It would be fun to
Service
watch.
people usually aren't cool people. They're more like substitute teachers that have felonies or something.
And they're not even really, even though they're doing the job, they really don't believe in the Constitution or what the country stands for whatsoever. They're just doing a fucking job. Unfortunately. Just like most of law enforcement and even, the FBI. We're not getting into that. But I wanted to broach another topic.
Hold on. The Secret Service consists of federal agents. They want to protect people. They do the currency stuff with our money and stuff, investigations. They do some criminal stuff, and they protect important people, not only the president, but other people, important people in our government. So a lot of them have the hearts in the right place. Some of them like to hook up with prostitutes in Mexico, though, which is kind of a no-no.
Right. Well, at least they're not as bad as the IRS and having extravagant parties in Las Vegas,
But why do our politicians get bodyguards at the public expense when we have to pay for our own? Shouldn't they have to pay for their own bodyguards? What's the deal with that?
Once a
I'm going to
presidential
correct you
candidate
about
gets so far
IRS
into
having.
the races, they get Secret Service protections.
You heard about that, though,
hold
right?
on. I'm going to tell you that you're wrong about the IRS going to Vegas and having extravagant vacations. That was the Department of Economic Responsibility or something that did that.
They said it was the
Like it was-
IRS. I believe it.
It wasn't the IRS, actually a department inside the federal government that was supposed to control budgets.
Well,
The irony of it. There it is.
It's not surprising. Nothing that the federal government does surprises me. They're all a bunch of fuckwits.
yeah, economics and government, right, or at least our government, is ironic just in general because we can't balance a budget, apparently. So, all right. I want to zip on to another topic that I saw that we're going to talk about. Apparently, I read something today, and did you hear that SCCY is now dropping its lifetime anti-theft warranty?
I'd never realized they had an anti-theft warranty. So
didn't
you're telling
think
me
that was
if you had
ever
a scrap
last
that
this
was
long.
stolen, they would replace it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, what's your guys' take on that one?
I didn't think it would last as long as it did.
How long?
Yeah,
did it
like
last?
every Sky owner would have like 50 Skies.
I don't know. I thought that it was. Now I may be mistaken. It may have been a policy they just recently put into place, but I thought it had been there since. How long has Sky been around? I know they haven't been around that long, but I thought that was like their thing.
Yeah, Sean Ponery, you have a couple Skies, don't you?
Oh, I've referred people to them a few times, but I mean, I haven't actually bought one. I've rented them a couple of times, so I can usually give people advice on cheap CCWs. But I mean, I don't own one.
But you have more experience with it than I do, so let's just go with that.
I've played with them for a while. I mean, they've been around for about 13 years or so.
Oh, that long? Really?
Yeah, they
Wow.
opened up.
I thought it was more like 7 or 8 years.
According to their latest update, Sky will no longer replace a lost or stolen pistol.
And apparently, the thing is that they caved into the ATF because the ATF didn't want them to, I guess, replace people's guns.
Well, I'm sure the paperwork alone was a nightmare because they probably would require like a police report and an affidavit proof of purchase, things like that, and then they'll replace the gun. But I mean, if you habitually, quote, lose your gun or have it stolen, they're going to get wise to that pretty quick.
Right. But here's the other thing. You know, when a gun gets stolen, you have probably, I'm going to be, generous and say there's a 50-50 chance of getting the gun back. It's probably much less than that, but I'm being generous.
I think you hardly ever get them back. They're
That's the point. And even if the cops the law enforcement does find them, that were used in crimes, and then have them in the locker, if that gun was used to kill somebody, you're never getting it back.
Yeah, it's evidence.
It's evidence until you die, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there are rare circumstances where, depending on your stolen weapon, depending on how it's recovered, and if it's the state prosecution or federal, you may get it returned to you. But if a serious crime ever happened with it, they keep it as evidence in the crime forever. So if they steal it from you and you bust them and they go to jail, you get it back. If they do something with your gun, though, you're never going to see it again.
Which is wrong.
Because they may need it later.
Which is wrong because technically they're taking your property away from you. In saying, oh, it's evidence. Well, that's great that it's evidence, but you are withholding property that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah, and honestly, they could do every type of test that they need to do on it so that they have everything that they could possibly need for future evidence, and do it multiple times. There's ways that they could do it so that they don't have to keep that weapon.
Sean, you're right. You're right, but the theory behind their thinking is, because they're so arse backwards, is that maybe someday there'll be new types of technology, so they'll have to keep that gun to verify that it was used in the actual crime. If somebody comes out and finds, well, ballistic technology back in 2010 was not that accurate, and blah blah blah. So they hold on to all murder evidence or all heavy violent crime evidence forever. You're just kind of screwed.
That just begs the question, though. I guess we can ask this as a panel question too. Do you have a dollar limit on your CCW or a quality limit on your CCW? Do you carry something really nice, or do you not, in fear of, well, if I am ever involved in a shooting, I might never see that again?
Oh, it's not even about if I'm involved in a shooting. I mean, you carry a gun every day, it's going to get tore up, and there's no fucking way, no freaking way that I'm going to carry an expensive gun just to tear it up, I've got an old surplus Beretta 92 that I carry because, it's a piece of junk. And, I mean, it's reliable, but I don't care if it gets all scratched up.
Now, see, what I do is I carry a Kemper in a side holster, and I carry a bloody glove and a Kel-Tec in a plastic.
Two sizes too small.
Does the glove fit?
Well, it depends on if you didn't take
the
any
large
pills for a week.
Because remember what Johnny Cochran said: if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit.
He also told OJ not to take his rheumatoid arthritis pills for a week.
Some of those guys are pretty big to jump in parking lots, so I got the biggest glove I could find.
I don't know. I carried my night guard for probably 2 years. I never worried about it because, you're more likely to get attacked by a brown bear and a black bear on the same day than you will be involved in a shooting. I mean, even in the 4th largest city in the country, I'm not worried about it.
I'm gonna disagree with you. The number of bear attacks per year is very low versus the number of gangbangers that attack you.
Right, but how many are actually going to go through with it when you draw down on them, though? A lot of those guys are just scared first-timers that don't even carry a gun themselves, and they're going to try to rob you, and as soon as you draw down, they piss themselves and run off.
Well, yeah, okay, so there is one thing to the first-time guys or the guys who haven't done it much, but the guys who are experienced wouldn't approach us, to be honest with you. They look for victim-like people who behave like victims. Now, some of them are high or dumb. And
They've probably already seen that you're printing anyway and moved on to the next guy.
Well, I mean,
hang on. I mean, it's easy to think about it from our points of view, but there are little old ladies that also carry. So
yeah,
Stop, or my mom will shoot.
But hold on. But when you're a person who's carrying and your head's on a, you're looking around, you're walking around, your head's on a swivel, you're typically going to target it. They're going to target someone who is, they look like they have money, they're not paying attention, maybe on a cell phone. Women typically, hold on.
I hear the sound of pain.
But
That's the sound I'm going to make when Hillary gets elected.
oh,
The sound of
don't
nation
joke about
makes.
that. Don't even joke about that,
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
because we're gonna build a wall.
Don't get me started on the wall. It's gonna be huge.
It's gonna be huge. Oh, we have to.
No, there's no H. It's huge.
It's huge.
Oh God, you guys.
It's gonna be built by Utes.
The smartest people.
Okay,
We're going to get the
okay.
smartest people.
Okay, let's.
So what
let's
kind of
bring it
started?
around.
I missed some of that because I updated Hangouts recently, and I seem to be dropping out frickin' 3 or 4 times a call now instead of a couple times a night. So it just got worse. But what started that whole conversation about carrying guns or something?
Oh, I think they were talking about confiscation of your weapons or whatnot, and I thought, well, what do what's your dollar limit or your quality limit on what you would carry every day, or are you not afraid of, potentially losing your gun to state's evidence?
Yeah. Yeah, see, I'm not worried about that. I carry my CZ. I've
I'm
heard that
covered now.
before,
I got 2 Berettas.
but I think I would be at the point, I'm going to be happy to be alive, and I'll worry about trying to fight to get my gun back later.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it would suck, and you're right. Sometimes, the cost of filing the fees and all the different shit to get your stuff back is more than what it's worth. But I'm the type of person that would totally cut my nose off to spite my face. So, I'm willing to do all that and jump through all those hoops to get my gun back anyways.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know if Nathan's gonna be back. He's been gone so long now.
Well, you got to think about the quality thing too. How low would you be willing to go for reliability?
Oh man, you can get
And- and
really
still-
inexpensive guns that are still decent. Though.
Yeah, you could get a Jimenez or Jimenez or
Why are you making fun of me?
you can get a Bryco or a Jennings or even a High Point.
Yeah, and if
You do that. You go right ahead.
Wait, have any of you
I'm
ever
talking
shot
about,
a
like,
high point?
Police guns. Yeah, a buddy of mine used to have a C5 or C10 or whatever the fuck they
I've
are.
never
It
shot
was
one.
ugly as shit. Okay, and it makes me really nervous how they use the firing pin as an ejector, because that's kind of fucked up, crazy. You know what I'm saying? But like
there's a lot of those cheap guns that do that.
it was accurate enough, and it never misfed while I was shooting it, and it never misfed when he was shooting it when we were shooting together. And they've got a lifetime warranty, so I don't know. From what I've seen of them, I wouldn't not trust one, but I don't particularly like how they look, and that's why I don't have one. It's not a reliable thing for me. There's stuff out there
very
that's
concealable
still
either.
Well, there's something I want to mention since we're on the topic of high points, and I was just kidding. I was just trying to be funny. Those guns, while some of them are made bad, some of them are made good. Usually the roll of a dice depends on whether you get a good one or a bad one. But
You
on the
just
topic of
described Taurus.
no, because I'm not
Make
getting any. I'm not like Matt. I'm not getting any Taurus checks, so I can't, support Taurus.
Wait,
whatsoever.
you're gonna
Taurus,
sit
like,
here and say that a Jimenez is okay, but
A
Taurus.
Taurus? Yeah, Taurus
I'm not
always,
saying
man.
they're-
Over a Jimenez?
I'm not saying they're good or bad. I'm just saying, you
He's-
get roll of a dice, you can get either. But I wanted to mention this since it happened a few days ago. The founder and designer of most of the High Point firearms passed away. So what was his Tom?
That was really sad.
Yeah, Tom. What was it, Deeb? Yeah, Tom Deeb. He passed away a few days ago, and I know we're not fans. Not everyone's fans of high points, and we joke about high points just because they're cheap guns. But the fact is, he was trying to help the gun community and the gun industry in his own way. And while some of his designs were out there, the fact is that it's sad that we lost someone like that.
Well, hold on.
You got to hand it to the guy because he wanted affordable protection.
Exactly.
There's totally. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, there's people that make cheap handguns that are pieces of crap and dangerous, and then he made these high point. Hold on.
You're not getting any.
I'll finish his thought. I think I know what he was trying to say. Never mind. No, I didn't.
I get it. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. As long as
there's a place for a cheap, like, quote unquote entry level handgun. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and while I know we joke about high point, and I know we go overboard sometimes with our shenanigans, shall we say, but the issue is, some of his designs, while not pretty, you gotta hand it to him. They were functional. They did work. They weren't the best on the eyes, but as far as what's out there, they weren't the worst either. So, it's sad that we lost someone like that, and I hope that the High Point Company can find someone to make their guns just look a little better and stay as functional and as affordable as they have.
As much as people rag on them, there is a known major manufacturer who made a total turd, and they've still yet to resolve the problem or replace it, the new Remington R51.
No, Remingtons have been pieces of shit ever since the Freedom Group file.
Yeah.
But I mean, remember, it was
there's
horrid.
there's a lot of companies that can be said about, like pretty much every company that was bought out by Freedom Group.
Those things were horrible.
I mean, a lot of them seem like the latest stuff from them. Some of them are getting a little bit better, like with their finishes. They're not quite as. Some of them looked like at one point that somebody just took some sandpaper, sanded the frame to smooth it out a little bit, and then put some cold blue on it. I mean, I've seen cold blue jobs that were as good as some of the finishes on some of the Remington and Marlin rifles from a few years ago.
You're saying they look like black weapons from the 60s.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I've seen some pretty nasty Tokarevs.
Yeah, but you expect that from a Tokarev, though.
You do.
Yeah. Some of these just look like they were just barely even, like they didn't even when they were brushing them out, they didn't really polish them. They just brushed them on a wheel, and they didn't even keep it in the same direction. I mean, some of them looked pretty bad.
All right.
Can I just say that I actually had hail on the cars out front of my place, and it literally, my road is so flooded right now, I had to take back roads and then kind of like surf into my driveway.
So hashtag the struggle is real in California right now.
Yeah, we're not geared for this shit.
Yeah, they're too busy dealing with
Next it's
earthquakes
gonna
and
start
forest fires
snowing
and riots.
Complain that they don't have any snowplows to take care of the issue.
I have a question to put before the panel, if it's not too bold of me to do so.
Go for it. You're here.
Hillary 2016 ammo shortage, yes or no? Go.
No.
No, there's just too much of it out there. They've already compensated for an ammo shortage right now, so.
I don't think they have. 22s are still outrageous in price, even though they're down.
22's been like that for years now, so it's no.
Yeah, even though people claim that 22s are plentiful in certain places, and every time that I go to places that they claim all the time that they got plenty of 22s in X city, And if it's a place near me, then I go there and there's nothing. Such and such website has plenty of 22. When I try to order from them, I get an email telling me that they're out of stock, and then they, credit my card. So it's still a shortage.
22 long rifle
and
is
you
a
also,
shortage.
one thing that's going to work in our favor on this, sorry, Night Strike, for cutting you off,
Go
is
ahead.
that the Department of Homeland Security is not going to be getting 4 billion rounds of ammunition made for them.
They should have enough already because they hardly use it at all anyways.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They've already they've got their 4 billion rounds that they requested, or it's been figured into the manufacturing process.
What I take issue is with, three-letter agencies in the United States that have nothing to do with any law enforcement whatsoever, like the IRS, and there's probably a couple other ones, that don't do any combat and are just desk jobs. But
hey, man,
apparently they need
VATF
20,000 rounds of 22. I mean, what? It's the IRS.
Look, there are
Hey,
a bunch of
that's-
desk jockeys who couldn't make it through a real academy, and they want to feel like they're a cop because they work for the feds.
It boggles the mind, but apparently they're not buying any more ammunition right now, so we should be good, hopefully, but who knows? We don't know until something happens.
Yeah, I was still waiting for 22 ammunition to get down below 5 cents a round again. Probably never happened.
I don't think it ever will.
Good luck on
Yeah,
that one.
I finally bought 5,000 rounds of CCI standard velocity.
You're talking about on a retail market, right?
So, yeah.
Okay.
But I finally bought 5,000 rounds of CCI standard velocity because I figure once we get closer to the election, there's going to be another run on freaking ammunition, and then I'll be in the same ship I was in last time. Who would ever think 22 ammunition would disappear?
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, don't
I mean,
worry. Me and Smeggy have an idea on that. We are getting, the Flint lead plant operational, and we'll start smeltering lead so that we can make 22 long rifles.
Straight out of the tap.
Straight out of the tap.
Straight out of the tap.
I've got a
Yep.
huge stack of old car batteries in the machine shop, and I've been thinking about trying to take them apart and get the lead out of them. I don't know if it's worth doing though.
I'll tell you guys a secret if you really need lead, like a good secret. Get
Go for
really
it.
friendly with dentists and orthodontists. Go to the office, ask them for their used X-ray films, the ones that, those little things that they put in your mouth and you bite down on.
Oh, those have
If you
lead
take
in
it
them.
apart, there's a pure lead sheet inside of each one, and those people have to pay people to come take them away. But if you say, look, I'll take them off your hands for you, they'll give you like a 10-gallon Homer bucket, literally like once every 2 weeks.
I might just do that. My uncle is a dentist.
Interesting. So, tip of the day. There you go.
And then when you need tin and antimony, you just go to like Rotometals and you buy one of their, they call it like a super hard bar or something like that, and you just melt a chunk of that with a bunch of that lead foil, then clean it up. There
Get
you
that plumber's solder at the hardware store and melt a bunch of that into it too, can't you?
go. It depends on what's in the solder. Like if you get that silver stuff, it might work, but if you get that rosin core stuff, it's just junk.
I wouldn't use solder.
Yeah, besides the Rotometals bar, you can use one bar I think 5 times, and it's only like $20 a bar.
Yep. All right. What else is going on, guys? Anything you guys want to bring up or talk about? Anything at all?
No, what new guns have we all bought recently?
Ooh.
I haven't bought anything yet. I'm working on an AK build right now.
My last
Oh,
two
really?
purchases were 2 Berettas. I bought a subcompact and a compact PX4. Highly recommend if you can get one. If you're looking for something, say, around $350 to $500, if you go to like gun shows or trade-ins or whatnot, perfect deal. If you get the compact version, you get that benefit of the rotating barrel design, and it is a ridiculously soft shooter. I mean, for first-time shooters, it's perfect.
What's the capacity on the compact?
15 plus 1.
Holy
9.
shit! On the compact one?
Yeah, the subcompact is 13 plus 1. But I mean, you could put the 20-round mag in any one of those guns.
I think my last 2 guns were the XD Mod 2 in 45 that I've got, and before that was my SIG P226.
I was recently bidding on an old black powder cape gun and 14 gauge shotgun by 45 caliber rifle, but I lost that bid. But I did win a bid on another Savage Model 24-22 long rifle over 20 gauge and sent away the check for it today. So hopefully I'll have a later model with the breakdown lever in front of the trigger guard to round out my collection, and then my Savage 24 collection will be much closer to being complete.
Heavy B, have you bought any new guns yet?
I was just going to ask you guys if you believe the fact that I just bought a Springfield Armory Carlos Hathcock White Feather M1A.
You need to show us pictures, even if it's your cell phone, dude.
No, I asked you if you believe because I'm lying through my fucking teeth. I haven't bought one.
Right, because you can't own them in California.
No, I think he.
No, we can own them.
Yeah,
we can have those in California.
Oh, can you? I thought they were on the restricted list because an M1A is technically,
an assault rifle.
an assault
Dun,
rifle.
dun, dun, dun.
It doesn't have a pistol grip on it. It doesn't have a bayonet leg on it. It only has
Yes,
a
it does.
detachable magazine.
Oh, he's right.
Not the Carlos Hathcock.
Oh.
So, and it's also, it's only, $5,000 for that gun. No big deal. Yeah, that's why I don't have one.
So it's only $5,000.
It's only 5,000. You'll be fine.
And that's without the glass. You got to get good glass for that thing, too. I mean, you can't buy a $5,000 rifle and then go buy, like, a
Bursa?
Tasco.
Hey, Heavy.
So,
Did you? I'm sorry, I was out of the room. Heavy, what'd you buy? A 50 BMG?
No, I asked if you would believe that I just bought a Springfield Armory Carlos Hathcock M1A.
Oh.
Besides, he can't have a 50 BMG. They made a Barrett specifically for California, the 416.
Actually, they designed that so it would shoot further.
Really?
It actually shoots up to 1.5 miles rather than a mile.
Oh, my.
And they did the 416 and I think actually it's the 417.
So Smeggy, have you gotten any new guns yet, or are you getting ready for April?
Yeah, I'm saving up my money for April.
Awesome.
And I'm also saving up my money for a gun safe. I'll be getting those both around the same time, probably.
Oh, you're gonna replace that fancy European invisible safe?
Yeah, I might just have to replace my invisible safe.
You should just rip out the door and just put a vault door in one room, and you can call it a walk-in gun safe.
yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm going to do at some point.
I have actually contemplated doing that.
Hey, women can have a damn
with a
walk-in
walk-in closet.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
the problem is you have to
contemplated doing
reinforce
that.
the walls.
I know a
so-
guy who has that in his house. It has steel walls and a vault door. He's a Israeli arms designer or something. He lives here in Houston. And he has
I was
a walk-in gun safe.
gonna just take a metal mesh like a flooring mesh, like they put on like catwalks and stuff, and line the inside of a closet with that, and then electrify it so that if anybody tried to stick a tool in there to break in, they just shock the fuck out of themselves.
What Lee's doing is in his closet gun safe, he's putting in a catwalk so he can do the catwalk.
I thought he was doing that so he could fulfill his Sarah Connor fantasies.
Well, that too, but don't tell him.
Wait. What's this fantasy that he can do a pull-up?
No, crawling across the catwalk on his hands and knees, waiting for the Terminator.
Right. Oh, God. I figured there was going to be a
that brings the
Terminator
next question.
reference somewhere. And yes,
That
Abby,
brings the next question.
Go
Is he
for
gonna put a stripper pole in there too?
Yeah, of course. I've got a stripper pole in every room in my house. What are you talking about?
You know, those West Virginians like to, party hard.
That's for all those stripper clips.
Yeah, here in West Virginia, we pay the strippers to put their clothes back on.
Wow, you must have some really bad strippers.
That's what he means.
They dance great. They
It's
just
much more
look
funny
horrible.
when you explain it.
Hold on. In all seriousness, it does make me sad the fact that Smeggy had to say the words, "I need to save up for an AK," because a decade ago I never thought anyone would ever say something like that.
Well, the problem is they're becoming like $700, $900.
I know.
And then everyone's saying, "Oh, if you get an AK, get an Arsenal. It's only $1,000."
Yeah, it just in my mind, an AK is a $300-400 gun tops.
And I'm telling you this
I
right
remember
now.
they were like two
If I'm
something.
gonna pay $1,000 for a gun, it sure as hell ain't gonna be a fucking AK. It's gonna be an M1A.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's sad that we're at the point where AKs are at the current price they are because it's ridiculous. There are people in Africa eating flies laughing at us.
Yeah, because they just traded a goat for an AK.
I'm going to have to try that.
What, you're gonna have to try trading a goat for an AK?
My
Yeah.
grandpa's got some goats.
Great. You just tuned into the Antiques Roadshow Islamabad edition.
And
Yeah.
his goats are those little tiny ones.
I said I'm
One
going
of them
to trade.
eat like an entire acre of grass on his own. So they're compact and they're like little self-operated lawnmowers. I'm sure I could probably get 2 AKs for one of those.
Okay, I think it's about that time of day tonight, or day. We're going to do a daily patch giveaway. I'm just going to pick someone random in the Gun Channel's chat room for hit or miss, and just give a patch away now. So, who do we got? Tactical Caveman. You are the winner of the daily patch giveaway tonight. I haven't seen you in a while, or I don't know if you've been here at all. I don't know. I don't know everyone in Gun Channel, so I'll just put that out there. But either way, no, I don't. No, apparently, there's so many people. So,
But not, you don't do anything.
I know, but Tactical Caveman, you win the daily patch giveaway. Go to gunchannels.com/DPG and get yourself a patch. Thank you for listening. You know what? Matt's in the chat, and I should probably give him a link because, yeah, I didn't even know he was going to show up tonight.
Nah, we don't need Matt.
Prepare for Big Taurus to enter the building.
Prepare for big check Taurus.
So I find it ironic the fact that you were busy with the chat and never figured out chat that Matt wanted into the chat on the other website, because I've been dealing with this for a decade with him. As soon as he starts his chat, you can't get in because he ain't looking.
Well, because the issue is he doesn't, he sends all these links out, and sometimes everyone joins, and then sometimes nobody joins, so he has to send extra out.
Well, it is kind of hard to manage that whole thing because, I kind of do the producer role on our chat, and it's kind of hard to do that when you're going back and forth and trying to keep track of everything that's going on and keep the conversation going at the same time.
No, I totally understand.
And sometimes sometimes you just kind of lose track of things. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah.
While we're getting the Matt here, I have a relatively new acquisition in my firearms cabinet.
Oh, what'd you get?
Show and tell, show and tell.
I actually could go and get it, but that would miss the point. I had a Remington 700 bedded. I got it from a friend. I had it thrown into a Boyd's wooden thumb hole stock. It's really nice, but the problem is I can't reach the safety. So I ordered a Timney trigger with a safety inside the trigger guard, and then I'm like, well, it's a factory barrel, and it's a 26-inch long factory barrel that has a muzzle brake on the end of it, so it's like 28 inches long, freakishly thin and long. It's driving me nuts. So I just said, screw it. And so I'm taking it to my gunsmith, and I'm having him throw a shorter, heavier Schillen barrel on it. So basically, it's not really a new gun. It's just one that it's a continuous.
It's just something that doesn't have any of the original parts.
It's the bionic gun now.
The bionic gun. Oh no.
The serial number is still original. Thank you.
Right. Well, that sounds like that's it. The receiver area is the only original part.
So, hey, Never Enough Ammo, what's going on?
The bolt is original, by the way. It's just been spiral cut.
Ooh, fancy.
Nice.
It looks nice.
See if Matt says anything.
No, I'm here. I'm just listening.
Okay.
I'm not going to interrupt.
Go for it. It's not like we're taking score. It's not like it's not like it's your chat and we're taking score on how many times Yankee interrupts someone.
Hey, it's not my chat. I spend enough time talking on mine. So.
I was gonna say, yeah, between Monday and Wednesday and now Saturday, It's like, shit, man, you do enough talking all week.
Jeez.
Someone would think you're lonely.
Maybe.
I'm liking those Saturday chats, by the way. I just want to say
I am too.
It's a little bit earlier than like our normal ones, so it's a good like after dinner-ish kind of chat, or afternoon sometimes.
Yeah.
I forget what time it is, but
I'm trying to do them about 6 Central, so that's like 7 o'clock on the East Coast. So, just because I got stuff that I do on Saturday night, so I can't do them too late.
Well, that would be cool. I was getting screwed out of them there for a little bit because they were going on earlier, and I don't get off work until like well after you start.
Yeah, so for anyone listening out there, Matt does chats Mondays and Wednesdays, and now he started doing Saturdays. So if you want to listen to his chats, just go to gunchannels.com and look up Never Enough Ammo. Anyways, yeah. Anybody else have anything you want to bring up, or do you guys want to kill it earlier, or what?
I have one more topic I'd like to discuss.
Okay, serious topic or troll topic?
It's serious. Yeah, it's serious. It's something I read today. So, in the United States Army, they're doing this whole handgun 3-year, trying to figure out what the new handgun's going to be, right?
The modular handgun system, right?
Modular handgun system. Yeah, that's what's running right now. So Congress pulled in the generals, like 2 or 3 generals that were in charge of this, and they started talking to them about it. And the generals just said, you know what? I would just like to pick, personally, I'd just like to pick Glock 19, 9mm, and just order all of them. And they started looking at the numbers and talking about it and stuff, and they're like, yeah, but we got to go through this whole project. It's already been budgeted and everything. Here's the ironic part. The modular handgun project costs twice as much as just buying Glocks for all the Army.
I heard one of the generals said, give me $17 million and I'll go to Cabela's and
yeah, that's what I was
get
going to say.
some guns.
He was quoted as saying that.
He said the cost of the 3-year project exceeds the price of buying all the 60,000 Glocks that they need.
Well, see, but the thing is, the military and even the government understanding of getting a gun designed for the military is it has to be up to military specifications. And I'm doing this in air quotes, by the way. And it has to be built specifically for the military.
Oh, so they're going to get regular
what?
Glocks and OD and you charge salient prices.
Built a gun for the military.
Basically, what it means is that the American taxpayer has to pay like $200 or $300 million extra for guns that probably cost the United States military probably in excess of like at most $30,000 for the guns because they have to develop, design, and then have them specifically made for military use, which is bullshit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things.
What do you think would be a good field test? Maybe giving it to every cop for the last 20 years in the United States.
But did they change the criteria? Because I was under the impression that it had to have both a decocker and a safety.
So
Yeah,
it is
It
then.
has to have an external hammer, a decocker, and a safety is what's written in the modular handgun bill. But Special Forces and the Navy SEALs carry Glocks because they're not locked into that. They get special weapons.
You know, if they want a modular handgun, why don't they just get all Taurus judges and be done with it? You know? You can shoot 410.
Hang on. Before you knock the train off the rails on this shit, I have something that I noticed about, when they do gun trials and stuff. They have all of these specifications, and I forget what's this one, like 900 pages or some stupid shit, whatever. But if you ever watch Forgotten Weapons on YouTube, sometimes he'll show like experimental guns or guns that went to trial, and he has a pretty good history of what happened. And one thing that I've noticed is they always, like, whatever country it is, whatever army, whatever, they ask for like these 3 or 4 specific things. And then there's always a company that comes in with a gun that doesn't meet the criteria and turns out to be better than all the ones they were asking for, and they end up picking it. So it's like sometimes those specifications...
Except in the case of the 1911, which it was just a badass gun all around.
Okay, so that happened once or whatever. But, I mean, seriously, that happens a lot where they ask for something, but they don't really know what to ask for. So the companies that do exactly what they say end up losing the trial to the company that just made a better gun.
Why don't they just do what they did before the 1911 came around and just let the soldiers choose their own sidearm?
Well, okay, so hold on. That's not going to happen because they issue stuff. But the other part of it is there have been times when things are brand new, they recognize it and they take it. So when Sam Colt made the revolver, they took the revolver. When Ed Browning made the 1911, there were no other automatics out there, and they took the 1911 because it was superior design, and not that it was the best design, it was new, it was revolutionary. They could see how great it was. So there are times.
Well, wasn't the 1911 in trials with some various Savage automatic pistols and a bunch of other stuff too, though?
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying, they do occasionally luck out and fall into something advanced enough that it's a good thing. But when was the 1911 adopted? Wasn't it like the 30s? When did the U.S. Army adopt it?
In 1911.
In 1911, that's why it's called Model
trials
1911.
1903, but it wasn't actually accepted until 1911.
Right.
Yeah, it was accepted. That's why they call it the M1911.
Yeah, but that's another thing. Ian from Forgotten Weapons did a whole thing on the adoption of the 1911. In case anyone wants to go check it out.
Now they did do the whole A1 version of it, and I think that was that in the 30s or was that in the 20s when they
35 or 36?
Yeah, I mean that's
it was right before World War II.
And then that's when it became obviously much better because there was still a lot of people that were using 30 special revolvers. I mean, the military was still using those as well for a long time, but when they went to the A1 in the 30s, then it was pretty much across the board. They dropped all their revolvers, and everybody was getting a 1911.
Yeah, one of the reasons they were carrying Model 10s back then is because they couldn't produce enough 1911s, so they had to give them something.
Well, okay, so what's the downside to, I mean, honestly, all the federal cops and everyone else carry Glocks. What would be the downside to issuing those to our military? We know they function in dirt, grime, and other things. They're picking the 19 because it's a 9mm and they already have the rounds for it. What would be the downside to reissuing that, replacing the Beretta with the Glocks? It'd be lighter weight, more reliable, I think.
There's no downside to it. It's just it's arbitrary. There's an arbitrary set of rules and regulations, and these pistols have to meet this criteria to even be in the running. Which this criteria needs to be re-examined severely. It should have been re-examined back in the 80s, but whatever. And there's nothing wrong with the Beretta. I mean, the Beretta's a damn good gun. I mean, but the simplicity of a striker action design, without a external hammer, without the safety features. I mean, there's a lot of advantage to that. It's been proven time and again. It's a simpler design, so you tend to have less issues with it long term. It's easier and cheaper to repair. Your armor, it does not have to do as much to repair guns if they do need to be repaired. I mean, it's just in general. Again, the Beretta's not a shitty gun. It's a great gun, but the simplicity of the Glock makes it a better gun, a better choice. But at this point, until they go through and just say, okay, all this crap that we, decided we needed on our sidearms, 30 years ago, we don't need an external hammer. We don't need a safety. We don't need a decocker. We don't need any of this crap. We need to dump all that and just start looking for the best gun, regardless of whether or not it meets these, ridiculous criteria. But they haven't done that yet, so that's the problem with it.
You don't think there's some sort of lobby from like Smith & Wesson that keeps stalling this because they want to buy more time to, I guess, perfect
Well, wasn't Smith the only one that showed up at the last round of trials?
Like, I think they would really want to push their MMP or something. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, they might, but right now the MMP doesn't fit the criteria either. I mean, right now it's a striker-fired gun without a safety.
Didn't they develop a prototype that met the criteria though? I know that I read somewhere that they were the only ones that showed up at the last round of trials.
Unless they've dumped the hammer-fired criteria, I know MMP has a version that you can get that has a manual safety. So unless they've dumped that whole it has to be a hammer-fired gun thing, then I mean it wouldn't matter. It doesn't meet the criteria.
But hold up, wasn't the whole point of the modular handgun system supposed to be so that it could use different calibers? Because the military believes that 9mm isn't as powerful as they thought it was.
Well, the idea of a modular handgun system, I mean, there's some truth to that, but at the same time, it's also just bullshit. I mean, they call it that, but that doesn't necessarily mean shit. Just because they call it the modular handgun trials, I mean, it's not. If
the military was really worried about, a gun that could perform well, had a high.
Their actual line of thinking on that was to have different specialized uses of it, and to be able to swap calibers for different specialized uses without having to switch to a completely different gun.
Hey,
well, that makes sense to use a Glock.
It sounds like they're trying to turn the standard issue handgun that they issue to be like, what was it, that failed project? What was the OICW or something like that?
Well, you've never heard of the government overcomplicating everything, have you?
Yep.
Oh yes, we have all the time. But you guys remember the OICW? What is it? The Object Infantry Combat Weapon or whatever. It's like a gun that was supposed to be able to do just pretty much everything, so they'd be able to just use different weapons for different specializations. They would
the
just
problem with that is when they tried that, it was a gun that it did everything average and nothing excellent. And then when they finally realized, oh wait, we should just make an anti-material rifle that's perfect at this, we can make a DMR that's perfect at this, we can make a handgun that's perfect at this, it made more sense overall.
I mean, and if they would have asked anybody,
if they were really worried about the power of 9mm, then 357 SIG would all of a sudden become really popular.
I wish they would.
Well, hold on.
I wish the reason that 9mm is so available and cheap is because militaries use it for so long and the cops used it for so long. I wish they do the same thing to 357 SIG, so I can afford to go buy ammo for it. Because I'd love to have a 357 SIG because it's one of my favorite rounds, but it's just so damn expensive, and it's not worth buying one.
Well, it's also a very snappy round, just like the 40 Smith & Wesson, which we've all embraced as far as federal people are concerned. But again, this is the oldest story in warfare, where bureaucrats get caught up trying to determine what is right and wrong. In the Old West, my dad has a what is it called, a 4440 or a 4038 or something like that.
Mm.
And there was this crazy idea in the Old West that it's good to have a cartridge that would fire out of your pistol, but you could also load in your lever action. And so people said when you took the lever action at 100 yards and shot it, you could set the gun down and then see the impact 2 seconds later. And then when they shot it with the pistol, of course, it was way overpowered. So this has always been going on, this idea.
Well, they chambered those early lever actions in pistol calibers.
Type of caliber.
Strong enough to hold a rifle around at the time, right?
Yeah, case-hardened steel and brass receivers and, iron barrels and things.
Here's the thing, though. The OICW basically gave birth to the XM8. You guys remember that one, right?
Which was a failure also.
It was a failure because it basically was just as good as the M4. Though there are conflicting things saying it wasn't as good as the M4 in the desert, but realistically the M4 and the M16 weren't great in the desert anyways.
Well, there was two other guns that they tried before, somewhere in between there. There was the Sabre M5, which was supposed to be a heavier caliber version of an AR platform, and then they also had the ACR, which apparently flopped on its ass too because they were like, this doesn't do anything better than an M16. So, I mean, what they keep coming to is we have hit a technological plateau, and now the only thing left to do is perfect that 1%, thing left. The guns are as efficient as they're going to be. Now we just need to make them lighter or more accurate or more portable. But the function of the weapon itself, there's not much left to do to improve them.
I don't believe we've hit a plateau so much as we've come up with enough ideas. We're running out of ideas to make them better, and we're just focusing on other aspects of guns instead of trying to come up with new ideas.
Well, as far as the function and the capabilities of you talk about a SCAR versus an M4 versus even an XM8 versus an ACR versus whatever. These are all rifles that have the same capabilities, but you have to get to a point to where is it worth it for the military to dump an existing capable rifle for another rifle that does not offer any more capabilities and then have to basically redo everything, all the support that they have for that rifle? There's not enough incentive there right now for them to do that. Sure, I mean, the SCAR was the biggest contender I think that we've seen in a long time, and there was a couple things here and there that maybe have, maybe it's a little bit better this way or that way, but it wasn't anywhere near enough to make this a viable option. There was nothing there that said, okay, yeah, this is enough to make us completely dump all the support we have for this current design, this current rifle, which is an incredibly modular design. It allows them to do so much with this, depending on what branch of service we're talking about, and user modularity with the AR design. It's not the best rifle in the world, obviously, but I mean, there's just not enough incentive there. They have to find that thing that's going to give them enough incentive to dump everything that they've spent 40 years now putting into this platform to make it worth it. And there's just not there's that balance is off. There's nothing there. There's no incentive there. There's no rifle out there on the market right now that is just so much more capable than the M4 that they're willing to just dump everything for.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Matt. I mean, there are things that can be done in the sniper long-range category. There are still new things coming out there. But as far as just the basic man on the ground carrying a rifle and having a pistol on his hip, that's pretty much, if our average soldier carries an M4 and has a Glock on his hip instead of a Beretta, it's just a little less weight, but it's going to do the same thing.
No, you're absolutely right, because I mean, you look at the advantages of a Glock over an M9, and for the in context of the military, there's not enough incentive there for them to completely change over their design. It's almost to the point to where you wonder why they're even going through these trials in the first place. Because unless they just want to spend a ton of our money completely just redoing all their support for this pistol that they've been using for over 30 years.
And we mean a ton.
Yeah, which is a perfectly functional pistol. That, you know what I mean? It's a it has proven itself in combat. So there's nothing wrong with it.
The M992 is a fine gun for what it does. And they shouldn't replace it. Granted, there are some people that say, well, I was in the military and the M9's a piece of shit. Well, that's because your armorer was a piece of shit. Because he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He didn't replace parts. That's why your M9 failed on it. If you were in the Army and you didn't like it.
Or you didn't take care of it, yeah. But here's another aspect of it, is the fact that we are still running solid 9mm full metal jacket bullets out of it, which has nothing to do with World War II. It has nothing to do with NATO. It only has to do with the fact that we went to the Hague Convention in 1900 and agreed to no hollow points and no air balloons.
Actually, I looked up on that, Nathan. We didn't sign the agreement to the convention. We followed it, but we didn't sign it.
So you're telling me where we signed up not to use dirigibles and hot air balloons and hollow point bullets 116 years ago?
We didn't sign it.
Those rules.
We're following it because everybody else is following it.
You can't honestly believe that we're not doing it. I know armorers in the Army, and they tell me for a fact they're not following that anyway. There's a reason we didn't sign it, so we can get away with using them.
And that's something I just saw recently. There's a thing in there, especially with like the unconventional warfare that we're facing. You know, it's like we're out there all dressed up like Army guys, and then dudes jump around the corner that look like regular people and shoot at you. You know, it's like we're not fighting a regular country.
Right.
So there are like the special forces team and stuff like that. They get issued hollow points, and I just saw a thing that they're going to start doing that even more. Like whatever the percentage was, they've decided that because we're not fighting normal wars anymore, we're not going to use as many full metal jacket.
Every combatant we've ever fought never followed the rules, so why do we? I mean, if we did it our way, everyone would have magazines full of controlled chaos Lehigh defense rounds.
No, he's right. He's right. This is something that was a non-binding treaty we never signed, and we just followed it because NATO tried to cut our nuts off. And the very fact that any of our special forces have always not followed it, but our regular forces, if you're going to give them 9s, then give them 9s with hollow points. Because
right,
it's
the best 9 available.
Give them jacketed hollow points. There you go.
Well, okay, just give them hollow points in their 9mm pistols, whichever they be that you issue them now, and on top of that, when they carry their M4s, give them the 55 grain bullets, or give them the penetrator 62 grain bullets.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the detail warrants it, because if you are going to be in close combat, the 55 grains work better, and if you're shooting at armor or anything else at distance, the 62 grain works better. But guess what? What if you just gave them 55 grain Sierra hollow points that just burst on impact? That's the best.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
You don't got to worry about tumbling.
Frangibles?
Not frangibles. No, just standard hollow point bullets.
Here's the other thing. The Hague Convention also covers rounds being poisoned.
Well, I'm not suggesting.
Oh, damn.
So that means
now let me ask: does bacon grease count as poison?
I was gonna say just dip them in bacon grease.
Because
I don't know anything. You know. Matt, all I have to say is don't ask, don't tell.
There you go.
And any military forces that are listening to this and are out there already, dunk your bullets in bacon grease. Do it right now.
Blessing. Don't use fire clean. Just pour bacon grease over your gun.
You'll be fine.
Hey, I have a new anti-terrorism strategy related to bacon.
All right.
I got to hear this.
Okay, so if you are a terrorist and you attack the United States and we capture you, we will feed you bacon and you will go to hell.
I'm down with that.
If
They don't believe in hell.
That costs too much. Just put them all in one room and have Hillary walk across the stage naked.
Oh, God.
Listen.
Oh, don't even put that in my
They
mind.
can't see another naked woman that's not their wife.
Hey, I'm
remember?
talking about bacon and you're talking about some sick crap. Be quiet.
Oh.
Now,
Mine's free.
And
My only, here, can I just preemptively say something before you get to the second part of your point? My only issue with this, and I'm willing to overlook it, is the waste of bacon. But other than that, I'm good. Please go ahead.
so this is threat of bacon.
Amen,
This is the bacon Cold War. So we tell all the people in
Bacon war.
the bacon Cold War. If you attack us and we capture you, we feed you bacon. And if you come and blow yourself up and martyr yourself, we will send special forces in, capture your mother and your children and your wife, and we will feed them bacon. And they will go to Muslim hell.
I'm like,
You know,
But
that
the
should
Muslims
be,
don't believe in a hell.
well,
The only
they don't believe in
problem
hell,
with this
but they
plan-
believe. Well, they believe they won't get to go to heaven if
They don't go to heaven if
Let me ask you this real quick.
The only problem with this plan is that I'm going to be running around shooting Allahu Akbar just so I can get free bacon.
Yeah, that's true. Now, has anybody else? Somebody. I just got a quick question. If anybody can verify this, I saw something. Actually, I've seen it several times. That there's something in. I don't know if it's TNT or I don't know what it is. One of the explosives that these terrorists like to use that is actually a byproduct of pigs. Does anybody know if this is legit? Has anybody heard this? I've seen it several times where they apparently. Because the whole point of it is they don't realize that they're blowing themselves up with the byproducts of pork anyway, so they're not going to go to freaking, terrorist heaven or whatever.
Hold on. The only thing I can guess about that, never enough, is that I know that when you make nitroglycerin, you have to boil the fat of animals and scoop off the glycerin off the top.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's.
And you mix it with certain other chemicals to make nitroglycerin.
Okay, but maybe that's what it was. Yeah, because it has something to do with TNT or nitroglycerin or whatever the hell. So I was just curious if anybody knew. I don't know anything about any of that crap. Because I'm not a terrorist, so.
So Matt, can I borrow it?
And I
got a link
totally
to support your claim, by the way.
most of work at all. And I don't have videos of me blowing up toilets.
Matt, I'm gonna borrow it and I'll pay you royalties later. But on that note,
Wait, real quick. I have a perfect on that note for you.
okay.
Nathan, tell the teddy bear joke.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
Okay, so there was once some pig fat and some nitroglycerin, and I'm not going to tell that joke.
All right. On that note, thank you guys for listening to Hit or Miss. I want to thank Heavy.
Teddy bear joke.
No teddy bear joke. You already told me that one. Heavy B, thanks for showing up. Polecat, Never Enough Ammo, Nathan's Armory, Sean Ponery, and Sean Carter. And Smegs just left me. I think he's going over to G-Web's chat tonight. I'm going over there myself, hopefully. But, guys, thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking part of the conversation. If anyone has any questions or ideas, just email me. It's on. I got the email on Hit or Miss page. So if you got ideas for a show, you want us to cover a topic or questions or whatnot, just send it to me. So on that note, this was Hit or Miss. Thanks for listening.